Monday, and the weather has turned real bad. Two tornadoes down in Sioux Falls, Iowa. Supposed to be heavy hail tonight, so I got my car protected, I hope. With blankets and stuff. About 1.3 miles from Main Street, Spillville, Iowa. Listening to the farm radio station. Don't understand a word they're saying about the corn and the beans and this and that, but I guess it's important to the farmers. Beautiful day. Beautiful, beautiful day. Heavy truck traffic. 0.8 of a mile to Main Street. Well, this is farm country. This is Iowa farm country. Spillville Mill, Spillville, Iowa. Alright, I am here. Half a mile to Main Street. I'm a little more excited about this than I thought I was going to be. This is where my mom's mother and father were born, grew up, met each other, and got married. Also where Antonin Dvorak spent a summer.
2.3 miles, turn left on South Main Street, then arrive at Spillville Billy Clocks on left.
Billy Clocks, that's what they're known for. And the Antonin Dvorak Museum, which I sure hope is open. There I am in my grandpa and grandma's hometown. How sweet. I'll find a restaurant or something.
Turn left on South Main Street.
I can't turn left on Main Street. What's the deal? Nope, there's a place for food and drinks. I'll just check in here.
And see what the Minnesota planting projections are.
See what else is around. Looks like a bar. I don't want a bar. But I am. So this is what Spillville is known for. This is their big attraction. And wow. I guess I never knew this before, but it says the great composer Dvorak lived here during the summer of '93. Yeah, I have to figure out how old my grandparents were then. I think, well, I know my grandfather was pre-teens or teens, not sure. Anyhow, I don't know if I mentioned it, but he became friends with Dvorak and actually took him fishing once because Dvorak had never fished before. So my grandfather taught him how to fish. I'm going to go in now. So this is a picture of Dvorak. I don't know if it was taken while he was here, but no wonder my grandfather thought he was a weird man. He looks weird. Heck of a composer though. So I'm going up into the Dvorak Museum. He said I can take video up here, so see what I see. Oh my gosh, there's so much stuff up here. These are just See, that's the founder of Spillville, Joseph Spielman. That's the Catholic Church, St. Wenceslaus. I wonder if my grandparents got married there. I'm just gonna get some video of the displays, and then I'll come back and read about them. Oh, that's Frank Bealey. He was one of the brothers who did the Bealey clocks. They're downstairs. They're absolutely spectacular. But I'm not allowed to take video down there, unfortunately, because they really are something to see. Just incredible pieces of just remarkable carving, craftsmanship. Now that, I wonder what that is. It's number 16 gallons. Someone who sees this will have to make a comment and let me know if they know what it is. There's another picture of Dvorak, a watercolor. Yeah, he just completed his New World Symphony when he arrived in Spillville. I thought he had written part of it in Spillville. And here he composed two of his greatest, most popular pieces of chamber music, a couple of string quartets. Okay. Came over from Bohemia. Somebody did a carving of the Bealey brothers. Oh, there's somebody who's kind of giving a tour. There's a bust of Dvorak. I think there's one behind too there. Well, this is, oh, it's an old music box. Oh my. Yeah, and then he went to New York. I knew that. I have no idea who that guy is. There's some old phonograph. Oh, here's something that was signed by Dvorak. Well, he was a interesting looking man, wasn't he? Well, it's in Czech, so I'll be able to read that. Another display about him. Yeah, my grandfather told me that when he'd walk by his house in the morning on his morning walk, my grandfather just thought he was a strange old man. But they became friends. It's just old instruments. I don't know if they're ones that he played. But I'll be coming back and checking it out. Oh, and here's a nice bust of Dvorak. And some of his manuscripts, I think it must be copies, but nonetheless, how interesting. I love his music, all of it. How interesting. Summer of '93, I've got to find out how old my grandfather was then. Can't take a picture of the Bealey clocks, but this is, I think, just a model of one because they're huge. They're absolutely huge. Ooh, interesting pieces in here. So, I want to walk through with my video camera. Oh, it's an old music box. How interesting that is too. Little cradle. There's a guy in here. Thought I heard someone talking in here. Guess not. There's one of the Bealey brothers making a clock. If you're ever in this neck of the woods, it's really worth, if you're anywhere near here, it's really worth stopping and seeing. Okay, I went downstairs and caught the tail end of the Bealey clocks tour. Gosh, I wish I could get pictures of those. They're just beautiful. I want to see if they have some kind of a magazine or something. Anyhow, I was told down there that these are all of Dvorak's instruments. And this was actually his living quarters. things here, which are fairly generous. You got nice living quarters, very nice living quarters actually. It'd be fun to see what those would have looked like then. And of course they play his music. And here's something I saw we gotta get a picture of because I don't know how to I just don't know how to react to this. If you can see what that is. That is a pickled, preserved pig fetus. How interesting. I won't make any comments. I have 5 or 6 right at the tip of my tongue, but I'll save them for some other place and some other time. So interesting. So interesting. Now here I am in Mason City, 9th Street Southeast, where we lived when I was born. We moved from when I was 7 years old. We lived right across the street from this house, which was my grandparents' house where my mother was born, close to 100 years ago. That was over 100 years ago now. Right next door was the Hansons. It was an older couple. They had a couple of daughters. And Christmas, he'd have all the kids over for a Christmas party. It was always fun. Right next door to them was where my mother's sister and her husband lived. Oh, so much history in this house. So much history in this house. Still have lots of pictures of family on those front steps in the front yard here, and pictures of my mother when she graduated actually were taken on that side of the house, and some wedding pictures that were taken right on that spot. Used to sleep in that room, second floor to the left there. It's not changed a lot. They have new siding, put in a new front porch where my grandfather used to sit right next to that front door in a big old wooden rocking chair. Sit there with his big old ashtray and his pipes and his cigars and his cigarettes. There was always smoke coming out of that man. And he'd always be sitting there when we came to town, which was always a really big deal for us. And he'd be sitting there to greet us. Where we lived, there were two brick kind of bungalows side by side, with kind of mirror images of each other, right across the street here, which is now just a big old parking lot. And right next to those was a big wooden frame house where Elaine's and my best friends, Bill and Sandy, used to live. And I think this is still Henkel Construction Company, where my uncle, who lived down the street here, worked, did payroll. And during World War II, he and his wife, my mother's sister, worked for them in a government contract in South Dakota. There's some old pictures of that. And this is their house. Small brick house when we were growing up, and then they added on. This was actually a kind of a screened in porch, I believe. This deck is new, garage is still there. Other than that, this house has not changed a bit. That big blue house across the street, every year they'd flood that backyard to a skating rink and they'd set speakers out there, play music. This is my aunt and uncle's house. A lot of time in there. And they'd flood that, and they had daughters who were figure skaters, and very good figure skaters. I know one of them, at least one of them, went on to skate with the Ice Capades. I don't know if those exist anymore, but anyhow, a lot of memories here. A lot of memories here. This was coming here when I was a young boy. It was like it was heaven, and a lot of really good times with family, aunts and uncles and cousins, grandma and grandpa in that house. A lot of holiday dinners in there. That's where my mother and her brother Don would, Sunday afternoons, Sunday evenings after dinner, we would sit down to their old upright piano, play piano duets, and I always prayed that they wouldn't stop. It was something I enjoyed more than I can even begin to describe. So it's good to be back here. I just had to get a picture of this back door. I just scanned a picture at Mary Helen's of my mother standing right here in her cap and gown when she graduated from high school, first in her class. But it was at this back door. My grandmother had 4 children who all died before the age of 2, and some from infectious diseases where the house was quarantined. And I know 2 of them. The funeral home brought over little caskets, left them at that door. I don't think those are the same steps, but left them at that door. She would fetch it and prepare the infants for casket, put them in, and deliver the casket back to those steps. And the funeral home director would pick them up. Just horribly sad. That window is where the dining room was. Oh, so many good times there. That window is to the living room. My uncle Ed, who was a B-17 Air Force pilot, World War II, killed in a car accident at age 25, coming home from the war in 1945, was laid in state in the living room here, and it was on this front porch that my grandmother came out with a telegram notifying him that he'd been killed, and I was across the street in our front yard, and I could hear my grandmother wailing, crying. So I went in and got my mother and said something was wrong with Grandma. We came rushing over here. My mother read the telegram. She started wailing, and I had no idea what was going on. Scared the daylights out of me. Very, very sad day. Still in Mason City, just 4 blocks from my grandmother's at St. Joseph Church. This is where everyone, that's where I was baptized. It's where my sisters were baptized. This is where all the first communions were, all the weddings, all the funerals, right out of here. So a lot of family, personal history here. I wonder if that door is open. There's a high school right behind it. St. Joseph Catholic High School. That's where my mother graduated from high school. That's gone now. And across the street, which is now just a parking lot. Church must be doing good business. It was an old public elementary school. That's where I went to kindergarten. And then the year after that, we moved to Des Moines. I'm going to go see if the place. My grandfather was janitor here after he retired from, I believe it was some meatpacking business. I'm not sure. And my mother was the organist here when she was a young woman.